It's hard to believe, but in about 2 weeks or so, we're gonna be processing these birds here. It's pretty interesting to think about. I'm very happy with them and how they have done. We've got these from Cornish crosses from Murray McMurray Hatchery. We've also gotten some ducks and other chickens from them in the past and have been more than pleased with that. And if you want to get some birds for yourself, whether it be hatching eggs or chicks, check out the show notes below. I'll have that down there for Murray McMurray Hatchery. But this will be the first time that we have processed our own birds here on the homestead that we're at now. A number of years ago, Lacie and I had processed some chickens of ours when we lived in the city, but this will be the first time that we've done it here. So since it's been a number of years, I know we'll be rusty at doing it. But Adam from Farm Life Outfitters has volunteered to come help us out that day. There's still a number of things we need to do to get ready for that. But in the meantime, tomorrow we're planning to head out to see Jason and Lorraine from Soda Land and help them with processing some of their meat birds. So that will help us shake off some of the rust and dust and refamiliarize ourselves with processing chickens. This year, with all the changes and additions that we've made here on the homestead, sometimes it's made it challenging to figure out a flow and routine. Yeah, we hear you. And that's one of our additions right there. But routine is important. And on top of what we've done as far as additions to the homestead, with all the craziness in the world, it has also made it even more challenging to find a routine and a flow. Change is good sometimes, but routine is very good as well. We need routine in our lives. It helps eliminate chaos and confusion. So what are some of the things that you guys are doing right now to have a routine in your life? It's very important. Let me know in the comment section below. Excellent job. That sounded beautiful.
Thank you.
So what you got going on here, Dr. Quinn?
Well, my calendula was blooming and my yarrow's blooming, and last year I didn't get a chance to harvest those and save those. So the other day harvested some calendula and dried it out and yarrow, and this is going to be turned into a healing salve.
All right, so you got some herbal medicine you're making there for us.
That's right.
Looking good there. Some more new stuff we're doing around the homestead, continuing to do what we can to grow, produce for ourselves.
That's right.
So how did it go with the goats today? How did your milking session go? You feel like your routine's getting down with that?
It's definitely going much better. We're getting down, and I don't even have to bribe her to get up on the milking stand now. She just hops right up there and I put the bucket in and she goes to town eating.
There we go. And speaking of goats, Mike and I have been going around with the lawn tractor doing our chores, as well as clipping some of and pruning some of the trees and taking some of the branches to the goats, and it's been pretty neat to do that. Not too long ago, we got goats. One breed for meat production at some point in the future, and then another for milk, which we're actually able to get milk from right now, and it's pretty exciting to know that we're producing, well, the goat is producing milk for us each day. It's pretty awesome. Right now what we're doing is we're going around. Mike is joining me, and we're just going through, taking off some limbs, cleaning up the area, as well as providing some nice feed for our goats. So we don't have a lot of pasture here on this property, but we do have a lot of vegetation that is growing in the form of trees. So I'm trying to use our co-workers here to help us clean up and feed them at the same time. So right now we're just going around with the lawn tractor, clipping, pruning, and giving them, the goats, some feed at the same time. Good try, almost. I'll get it. Oh, here we go. A number of years ago, I watched a video from Jeff Lawton on raising goats, and I knew that whenever I started raising goats, that I wanted to do something very similar to what he teaches. And one of the things that he does, his primary teaching is on permaculture, but a part of the system with the goats is when you're going through and you're helping to harvest and you're pruning things like trees like this, you want to clip them off so that way it actually stresses them to the point where it makes them want to grow more and shoot off more shoots. This tree's starting to do it here, even though I didn't do it. But what I'm thinking I'm going to do is I'm just going to clip it right off the top, and then over the course of a year or so, it will shoot off new branches, new growth, which will be good for them to eat on next year. So I'm just going to clip it off right here. So after clipping it here, hopefully next it will start shooting off shoots like these here to grow for next year's harvest for our goats. Some of these that don't have leaves, or after the goats have stripped the leaves off, will be perfect for firewood, for kindling and things like that. And even, we don't have one, but even a rocket stove. Also, as I'm standing here, I'm seeing this tree that is dead. And part of learning to manage certain areas is learning to know when to remove trees, especially the dead ones. So this one looks like it's so dead, I maybe can just push it right over. I don't have a chainsaw right on me, but let's see what we can do. Micah, stay right there, okay? We can use that for firewood at some point too. Come back through with the chainsaw another time and clean that up. So as we're adding new things, we're also figuring out a routine and what works for us at the same time. But we also have just random stuff that still happens. Like you had a bird in the house the other day.
Yeah. Josiah comes to me and said, Selah heard a bird in our wood stove, which is not the first time that this has happened, but it's been a few years. And yeah. Well, we have something interesting happening here inside. I was in there working on a video. Josiah came in and said, Selah heard some tweeting in our wood stove. So I've come in here, and yes, there's a bird in our wood stove. This is not the first time it's happened. Let's see if we can get it out without it getting loose in our house, like one's happened before. This should be interesting. here it is. I don't want to let it, it's like really spazzing. Like it's really trying to get out. Feisty little thing. Oh! Man. Well, after it got away from me inside, and we let it calm down a little bit, finally was able to catch it again. So I'm gonna bring it right over here and set it down. It'll probably just fly off. Always an adventure around here. I'm glad it's out. Hopefully it won't get back in there.
Also this week we've started implementing and bringing Ben back to the homestead to help us out. And for those of you who don't know Ben, last year, and I think even the year before that, he was a big helper to helping us out with the homestead and in the garden. So we're going to try to have him back on a regular basis to help us to make some more progress around the homestead, and really enjoyed having him this past week. Looking so much better in here.
Yeah, it is. We got tomato tar fingers.
There we go. And welcome back, Ben. We're glad to have you back. You learning how to string up tomatoes there?
Yeah, soon.
There we go. Looks like you're doing a fantastic job. 2 thumbs up. Only got one hand here, so let him have another one up too. All right, well, one of the things that I was thinking once you're done being medicine woman is if you could come out here and here. Come on, Mike. Come out here.
Come out here. I got something for you to do, woman. Make sure you got your bare feet. Come on.
Let me try it again. One of the things that I would like to do, if you could help me out once you're done, is help me set up. I want to try bringing Basil and Hazel into one of the chicken fencing and letting them just munch down on some grass. And since you've done milking them already, milking her already, letting them just graze a little bit.
Yeah, we can do that.
Sweet. So for most of our time here on the homestead, I've tried to do this with a one-man job. I'm going to try to stop doing that from this point on, because constantly getting the fence tangled up is it's a pain. So we're going to try to start having this be a 2-person job. Last week we just moved the ducks and chickens, this flock right here, out of this area and over a little bit more to where there has some fresh bedding in the mulch. And hopefully soon we can move them to some pasture, but we'll just have to see what happens, so just stay tuned on that. It'd also be really neat if they made some kind of rack that you could roll and do. That'd be cool.
We're gonna put Hazel and Basil over here. It's more like a storage area for equipment and materials, and grass grows up around stuff, and they are like the perfect ones to keep all this mowed down.
Alright, so I think we'll go right here. That way they have the shade from the tree if they need it. But this area needs work on. They can work on getting this grass down for us and just graze away. Went ahead and got the other fence so we can just make the area a little more spacious for them. feel like they would be a little too crammed with just one fence. And besides, this area needs to be taken down anyway. Our fencing is pretty old. We need to upgrade. I'm actually planning to do so. Haven't been able to get it yet, but we're looking to try some fencing from Pasture Management. It's actually a local company that I'm thinking about trying out. So hopefully we'll get their fencing pretty soon. Pasture Management has netting like this for chickens, ducks, as well as for bigger livestock like sheep and goats and cattle. Even on this fence right here, it was a double stake, and now it's a single stake because the other one broke off.
Oh, this one, I can't do that one.
Well, this one's just all bent up. So we'll do something weird with that. One of the things that we often run into in setting up fencing in areas, especially areas for the first time, is figuring out where to actually, especially when you're using two fences, where they're going to meet up at. So right now we're having to work that out. So once I set up the initial two post, you kind of get it moving along, I next like to set up the other two and then kind of figure it out from there what to do with your excess. All right, now that we have the area fenced in, next part is to bring the goats over. One challenge is we still don't have a gate yet for the goats, so I'm gonna have to lift them up over the fence, and then we're gonna have to walk them over here and put them in there. But I think I can do it.
Hey, Hazel.
Yeah.
Hazel.
Hey.
How's the Hazel girl?
That's
Watch out.
poison ivy. I don't want that.
She loves poison ivy.
All right, you gonna let me pick you up? And I look forward to this. I have to work on getting you a gate this week, and we can make this easier.
You ready?
Got her?
I got her.
All right. Putting on some weight, so hopefully not that heavy. All right.
She didn't squirm
Whoops.
that much.
Good lift. Was that all right? I didn't stretch you out too much. So, Lacie, if you go ahead and walk Basil over, this is Hazel. Gotta get those names right. Gotta get them right. Thanks, Selah. If you walk Hazel over there, we'll go get Basil and meet you over there.
Okay.
Come on, Selah.
Basil!
Today is a little bit cooler, and I must say, I wish this was the hottest it got here. The humidity is not that high. I'm loving it today. So this feels great. All right, there's old Basil down there.
Hey, boy.
Got him?
Yep.
My goat lifts. Those are our meat goats. They're staying in. We're gonna let our dairy goat and our youngling munch on the grass. We'll figure out a system for them here in a little bit. Not today, but we will. They still have a larger area to graze on. And right now we have this section from where Selah is all the way down. Not this pole, but the next pole just right there where it cuts over. And that section is two sections actually, this whole area. And the dairy goats over here and our meat goats are on the other side of it. And they have a lot more vegetation on that side for them to munch on.
As soon as Basil came in here, he went straight to nursing. Isn't that what all babies like to do? But I've already milked Hazel today. We milk her first thing in the morning and we keep Basil in another paddock during the day. So we can have milk and he can still have some milk. and I haven't upped it to twice a day yet. I don't know, I'm trying to get everything down to science before I up it, but I know we really have enjoyed having goat's milk since Hazel and Basil came to live here on the farm.
All right, everything's connected, but the fence isn't giving off the shock that it should. So one of the things that it could mean is it might be grounding out somewhere. We'll walk around, see if we can figure that out. So I'm looking for is to make sure that there's no, the horizontal ones is the ones, except for the bottom one, are the ones that have the shock to them. So everything looks good here. A little bit of ground connection here. Not overly concerned with that, especially since we're not leaving them overnight. So just keep looking, keep looking, keep looking. Oh, here's a spot right here. See the horizontal strand is coming into contact with our stake here. So we need to pull that out from there. There we go. Shouldn't be making any contact with anything metal or it will ground it out. Oh, and here's another spot right here, and this tends to happen on a regular basis. And what happens here is this piece that's looped on will sometimes come down and come into contact with our stake, grounding it out once again. All right, so what we need to do is get it over there. Well, come on. Of course this is gonna be a pain in the butt. Almost got it. Come on, get up there. There we go. And what I typically like to do when I find this happen is I'll just get a zip tie and just zip it on there so it won't slide back down. Alrighty, so I don't see any more spots where it could be grounding out at. So I think we're good to go. I'm gonna turn on the fence. Everybody out? Okay, if you're not, it's gonna be a shocking experience. All right, so we're gonna leave them out here for a few hours and let them just graze away and help munch things down and keep it cleaned up here. And I never noticed it before, but Lacie and Selah are pointing out that this is a cherry tree right here. And there's actually cherries on it, right up there. Had no idea.
And we had the fence set up over here, and then we noticed it was a cherry tree, and wild cherries can be toxic for goats. So then we moved the fence to make sure that they couldn't reach any of the leaves.
Hey Daddy, look at all these.
Wow. All those seeds. Where'd you get it from? That grass over here?
Yeah.
Wow. Will they eat it?
We tried earlier, they didn't eat it.
No. I wonder if they'll eat it if I have it. Meh. Look at it going to town there. Try some? Huh? Huh? Go ahead. Yeah. You just tasted it. You didn't like it. I don't think I'd like it either. I'm seriously considering having this part of their regular routine, their new routine, on a day-to-day basis here on the homestead. We'll just have to see, maybe have like a permanent area where they stay in, and then we kind of bring them out to graze in certain areas at different points each day. We'll just have to see how it goes. But with new things comes new routines, and just FYI, I don't like the term new normal, but this is our new routine. But that's the subject for another day. Well, let us know, once again, as I mentioned earlier, what routine are you currently in right now and are trying to develop to keep yourself moving forward. Have a great day.